Right, Harper?
Give me a mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Don't be talking about my studio.
Make sure.
He said my studio's cheap.
Makeshift studio.
I don't think you've ever been in a real studio. Why are you looking around my
I've been
room?
in
Is it
studios.
junky?
No, I've been in studios before.
Well, not my studio. Okay, you gotta hold it up like me.
Like this?
Mm-hmm. We don't have mic stands. Our budget's a little bit low.
You don't have nothing to put in my ear? You know the mics.
I have it.
Oh.
You're fine. Okay. So today I have a very special guest on the video. My dad. Also, college coach for like my entire life. Okay. So quite the resume. Let me just recap. So SMU,
Yes.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
It's hard to go in order. Oklahoma State. Washington State. Colorado. Georgia State. So 6.
Back to Skyline.
Yes. So 6 D1 schools where you've either been a head coach or assistant coach. Lots of experience with March Madness. I've been filling out brackets since I was like super little. I remember the first time I filled out a bracket, we were at Oklahoma State and we had won was it the Big 8 then?
Big 8, yes.
Whatever.
Big 8.
And I was filling it out. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I couldn't keep up. We were at the restaurant and I couldn't keep up with like all the teams, and obviously like I'm obsessed with basketball and fill one of these out every year, and I've been so excited to plan this video to fill out our brackets together. Now this isn't our real bracket. This is just for the video because we kind of keep our brackets secret.
And we change them.
And let me tell y'all what we do. Like, I'll call Dad and I'll be like, for example, I'll be like, do you think that Baylor can beat Arizona? And you'll be like, no, Arizona's going to win. And I'll be like, you're going to pick, like, I'll convince him to change his pick. Knowing that I picked the other team, so when that other team loses, he'll be like, man, we didn't pick them. And I'll be like, no, I did. And then he'll get mad because I changed his pick. But that's
what I get for listening to my daughter.
Basically. But we're just going to, talk our way through this. I'm going to ask him some more questions about like coaching in college and March Madness. So we're going to start in the top left.
Top left. What we got
UConn, here? Stetson. Obviously, I'm going
to go with UConn.
UConn for sure. UConn actually, as the overall number 1 in my opinion, I think they have the toughest region. Because
I'm gonna go with UConn.
They have Auburn is over here. Iowa State is really good. Okay, and you know what's crazy though is Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, and UConn are all in here, and they all went to the Final Four last year. Did you know that?
Yeah, I tell you, UConn is really
good.
It
a little high.
UConn is really good, and Coach Hurley's done an outstanding job of coaching him, but he's got great talent also. I mean that helps you make you a better coach, and UConn's really good.
Okay, Florida Atlantic, Northwestern.
Then I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic.
Me too. They return a lot from last year's Final Four team. I don't think they're going to – I think the run's kind of over, though. Okay. 5 versus 12. 5 versus 12 for you guys filling your brackets out. That's typically an upset. Like, that's one of, like, the major upsets of 5 beats a 12 every year. But I did read that in the past, like,
I'm going to go with San Diego State.
Been. What's wrong with UAB?
There's nothing wrong with them. I just think San Diego State's better.
Okay. Auburn and Yale.
Auburn.
For sure, Auburn. I like Auburn. Okay, 6-11 in Omaha. BYU and Duquesne.
I'm going to go with BYU because it's the Big 12
I'm going
school.
with BYU because they beat Kansas.
I'm going with BYU because I just think they're good, and they play a style. They play a Princeton-style offense, but they shoot the 3-ball extremely well.
Yeah.
And plus, those guys are old. They go to Mission, and they come back, and
they beat Kansas at Kansas.
That's a big win for BYU.
Yeah.
So
I turned that game off. Okay, Illinois, Morehead State, another kind of upset.
I'll go with Illinois.
Okay, they won the Big 10, so another tough team in UConn's
Plus, you know
way.
Brad Underwood. You know, he always tells you how I used to stay at his house when he was
that was him?
Assistant coach at Dodge City Junior College.
I thought that was Buzz.
No, that was Brad Underwood.
Oh, okay. Another thing. So I have a lot of, like, friends, like kids that I know that are playing now. He has a lot of coaching friends. I know a lot of coaches. You can't pick with your heart when it comes to your bracket.
That's exactly right.
You can't pick your friends.
Well, why do you always
coaches.
pick Kansas?
You know what? We're gonna keep going.
What we got here?
Washington State, Drake. Cougs back in it for the first time.
I'm gonna go with Washington State.
I like the Cougs too. And then Iowa State, South Dakota State.
Washington State.
Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Okay, back to the top. UConn.
I'm gonna go UConn.
Florida Atlantic. I'm gonna go UConn.
UConn.
San Diego State,
Auburn.
Yeah. So far, no upsets.
I'm
BYU,
gonna
Illinois.
go Illinois. And I'm gonna go with Iowa State.
I'm gonna go with Iowa State, but I think BYU can hang with Illinois. They beat Kansas. You know what? I'm gonna pick BYU.
I'm gonna go with Illinois.
I'm gonna go with BYU. They beat Kansas.
I know it, but I think Kansas that particular time.
At Kansas.
McKellar was hurt. You know, the depth of Kansas against that team. You know, Kansas was beat up and was struggling right down through that area. But I think if Kansas and BYU played again, they'd beat them. If they played 10 times, Kansas is gonna beat them 9.
9. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still picking BYU.
I'm gonna go with Illinois.
Okay, UConn Auburn. I'm picking Auburn with the upset.
No, I'm gonna go with UConn.
And then Iowa State, BYU. I got Iowa State.
Iowa State.
Iowa State's really good.
They're really good.
They play really good defense. They seem super bought in.
Yeah. And they're good. TJ has done a great job up at Iowa State with that basketball team. They also beat Kansas at Iowa State.
Anyways, Auburn, Iowa State. I'm taking Auburn to the Final Four. They won the SEC.
I'm gonna take UConn.
I like Auburn. I think that Bruce has been playing really well. That's my political answer. But no, their guards are tough. I think the SEC is tough. I feel like Auburn and Iowa State are kind of similar a little bit. They both play really hard, good defense.
I don't think Auburn plays as good a team defense as Iowa State plays. I think Auburn, they play extremely hard. I think they play a little bit out of control sometimes. But Bruce has done an outstanding job coaching.
You're just saying that because you know him.
Yeah, I do know him. But I just think sometimes they play a little out of control. In the NCAA tournament, you know, you got to control.
Hold it a little higher.
You got to control tempo sometimes, and you got to have good guards. And they got good guards, but I just think
Iowa
Auburn,
State is pretty good too.
Iowa
I don't know.
State,
I'm just going Auburn. I'm just riding the wave.
I'm going with UConn.
I'm riding the wave. Okay, before we go to the next bracket, as a coach in March Madness, how maybe stressful is it towards the end of February into March, just like all the work and preparing and just, you know, getting ready for, you know, what's ahead in March?
Well, you know, through my experiences, especially when the teams that I was on as an assistant coach that went to the Final Four, that went to the NCAA tournament with Dave Bliss at New Mexico and SMU, but especially with Eddie Sutton. During that stretch, we always knew as we got to the latter part of the season that we were already in the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. You know, we already knew that. And with Coach Sutton, he would say, boy, we got to win this game because it helps our seeding. I mean,
more about your seeding.
Yeah, it was more about – because we knew we were in our league. When I was at Oklahoma State, we either finished first or second in the league. You know, it's
behind
either
who?
Kansas.
Yeah.
You know, and Roy Williams was the coach there. But we always knew that. So we would go into a game and go into practice saying, boy, this hurts our seeding. This hurts our seeding. This hurts our seeding. And so we were always like that. And so that helped us to keep going in with less pressure on us to win a game, other than saying, boy, we hope this team loses this team and
depending
that team,
on other
teams. But we were already there. So with Coach Sutton and with his stature and his reputation as one of the premier basketball coaches, we already knew we was in the tournament, so that's how we played. So it was less pressure on us to go out and relax and to play and to continue working on our seeding.
Okay. Should we go to the West?
We can go to the West.
North Carolina gets the winner of Howard and Wagner. That game is on tonight. Regardless,
I'm going to go with North Carolina.
UNC. Okay. 8-9. Mississippi State, Michigan State.
I'm gonna go with
Michigan State shouldn't be in the tournament. Sorry, Tom.
Well, I'm gonna go with Michigan State because I know Tom Izzo really well.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with Mississippi State. Who did they beat really bad in the SEC tournament? They just beat someone. Tennessee. Yes, they killed Tennessee. I'm going with Mississippi State. I think they're a little bit tougher. Michigan State's been up and down all year, so yeah.
But Tom Izzo is a tournament coach.
He is.
And he's proven that, and he's taken teams. Tom Izzo, Bill Self, those guys. Tom Izzo, Bill Self. Those guys are tournament coaches. They get their teams ready and prepared to play in March Madness. And so I'm going with Tom Izzo. I know him when he was an assistant at Michigan State to Judd Heathcote, because Judd Heathcote was the head coach at Washington State at one time, and meeting Tom and out on the road in recruiting and became good friends.
I thought you said you weren't picking your friends.
Well, I'm picking this one.
Next game, St. Mary's Grand Canyon.
I'm gonna go with St. Mary's.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going with St. Mary's.
I'm picking St. Mary's. Alabama College of Bama.
Where was that?
Shout out to Rylan Griffin from
Michigan.
Richardson.
I got Michigan State.
No, the next one is Bama College of Charleston.
North Carolina gets Michigan State. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then okay.
Michigan State. And then here should be St. Mary's, right?
Mm-hmm. And then 4-13 is Bama College of Charleston.
And then this is Bama.
Clemson, New Mexico. I'm taking New Mexico.
I'm gonna take New Mexico. Not because I coach them. I'm taking the Lobos.
Yeah, me too. Baylor, Colgate.
I'm gonna go with Baylor.
Don't let me down, Baylor. Dayton, Nevada. I'm going with Nevada.
I'm going with Dayton.
Arizona, Long Beach. I'm going with Arizona.
I'm going with Zona.
Back to the top. I have North Carolina, Mississippi State, but either way, I'm taking North Carolina.
I'm gonna take NC.
St. Mary's, Bama.
I'm gonna take. I don't know that Bama is more athletic than St. Mary's. St. Mary's plays a real disciplined type style, offensively and defensively.
It's a tough one, but either way, I'm picking North Carolina in the next round. I'm
gonna take St. Mary's.
I'm gonna take I'm trying to pick with my friends again because Rylan plays for them. I'm gonna take Bama.
I'm gonna take St. Mary's.
Okay, New Mexico, Baylor. I got Baylor.
I got Baylor.
I'm gonna take Arizona.
Zona.
Okay.
I'm gonna take North Carolina.
I got North Carolina, and then here I have Baylor.
I got Zona.
See, you can't trust Arizona.
Well, I just think Zona's better than Baylor this year.
They just lost to Oregon.
That's okay. It's different. The thing about, like, Tennessee just lost in the conference tournament. Kentucky just lost in the conference tournament. But those are teams now that you eliminate those losses, and now it's advance. It's survive and advance, like they say. Survive. Just get through.
Yeah.
And I just think when you got good coaching and you got better players, and the whole key in the NCAA tournament is win that first game, so you can get the jitters out of you, because that's normally where the upsets happen. Ask Purdue; they'll tell you that's normally where the upsets happen in that first game.
I got Baylor.
I got Zona, and I got North Carolina.
Sorry, KJ.
I got North Carolina.
I'm not picking my friends.
We'll see.
I picked North Carolina Final Four. You got North Carolina too?
Yes, I got UConn. I got UConn and North Carolina.
Okay, I have Auburn, North Carolina. Next question before we move on. How stressful is it as a coach when you're like on the bubble? I remember do you remember when you were coaching in Colorado? I was in college. Y'all were playing Kansas.
Oh, yes.
Tell the story. Tell the story.
This
is how much I love Kansas. Go ahead.
Brittany was sitting behind the bench, our bench at
the Colorado bench.
At Colorado bench.
In Allen
Fieldhouse. And we were playing, and somebody was playing.
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M was playing behind, and I kept asking Brittany what the score was, Right.
If you haven't been to Allen Fieldhouse, if you're like on the front row behind the bench, I mean, he could literally tap me and be like, "What's the score of that game?"
Yeah, what's the score of that game? And it's stressful when you're a bubble team. That's why I said when I was at Oklahoma State with Coach Sutton, we already knew we were never a bubble team. You know, we were already in. We were just worried about seeding. And Coach Sutton, people don't know this, he would call somebody on the selection committee and say, "Send us to the West Region or send us to
the East.
Don't send us to someplace like we was in the Eastern Regional and we played up in New York.
That was fun. I remember that trip.
Yeah, we played up in New York. We even went to the White House that year. So, but when you're on the bubble, you just sit and it just stresses you out. And it's, a lot of times when you're a coach and you're on the bubble, it could save your job.
Yeah.
You know, getting to the NCAA tournament can save your job.
Sure.
So it's really stressful, and you sit there and you wait, especially on Selection Sunday when you're a bubble team and you sit there. Like, think about right now, like Oklahoma, St. John's,
Indiana State,
those teams. And then
Pittsburgh.
You think about those one-bid leagues. You know, you won your league and you won 25 games, but you lost in the conference tournament. So it can be stressful sitting there and you don't get your name called. And that happened to us at the University of Colorado.
Yeah, we had our bags packed.
Yeah, we were right there, but we went to the tournament and it balled down
Between
to us
and
and Texas Tech. And Bob Knight was coaching Texas Tech, and we was in the conference tournament in
We
Dallas.
finished ahead of them in the league, but we lost
to them in the tournament.
tournament.
And so we went to the NIT. So that was really stressful.
Wait, finish the story, the Kansas story.
Oh, the Kansas story.
I'm behind the bench.
She's behind the bench. And
you're coaching at Colorado.
I'm coaching at Colorado, and I'm turning around asking Britt, "What's the score? What's the score? What's the score?" And she couldn't tell me because she was so watching. She was watching Kansas beat us.
I was cheering. I couldn't help it, and he just turned around and laughed.
Yeah, I just turned around.
Funny.
She's watching Kansas. You know, let's go. You know, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. And I said, "Your dad coaches here at Colorado." You know,
That's funny.
But that's a true story.
Okay, we're going to go to the South Regional in Dallas. Houston and Longwood.
Houston, of course.
Houston, for sure.
You know, Calvin Sampson's one of my best friends.
So is the next one.
Oh.
Nebraska and A&M. I got A&M.
I got A&M. Another one of my friends, right,
yes,
Britt?
We're on the Texas A&M mailing list. Shout out to Buzz. Okay, Wisconsin, James Madison. I got James Madison.
I got Wisconsin.
James Madison, if you're looking for an upset, that 12-5 I think is a great pick.
Then I got Duke.
I'm not too sold on Duke this year, but I do think they will beat Vermont.
They beat Vermont.
Texas Tech, NC State. This is a tough game. NC State, after watching them play in the ACC 5 games in 5 days, how they play, the good little point guard, that big kid.
What about the big boy?
He was going to work down there. He was cooking.
Big boy was working.
But he was so skilled, though. He was passing.
He could pass. Yes, he could really pass.
You know what I mean? Like, I was impressed.
And think about NC State. They won 5 games. They won 5 games in 5 days.
Not just that, but who they were playing.
Who they playing?
Duke, North Carolina.
Virginia.
Yeah.
They got lucky against Virginia. When Virginia's got a 3-point lead with seconds in the game, they come down, they throw it to a guy, he jumps up and makes the shot.
Yeah. Well, they should have fouled.
Yeah, they should have. Yeah. But I'm going
NC State. I'm riding the wave. I'm
gonna go with Texas Tech.
I'm going with NC State.
Big 12.
Kentucky.
I'm gonna go with
Oakland.
Kentucky.
I got Kentucky.
John Calipari.
Florida. Boise State.
I'm gonna take
Colorado.
Florida.
I'm gonna take whoever wins this game. That guy from Florida broke his leg. I feel like they're super emotional. He was one of their big starters.
So
I'm gonna go with Buffs, baby. Well, we don't know who's gonna win, but I just think Florida's a little emotionally drained right now.
That's right. I'm with you. I'm gonna take whoever wins too at Florida.
You're copying me now. See?
And then we got here.
A&M Houston.
I'm gonna take Marquette.
No, go to the top. Go to the top. Oh, Marquette. Yeah. Marquette first, over Western Kentucky. Okay, here's where it gets a little interesting. You know, Wade Taylor, great, friend of mine. His picture's over there on the wall. I texted him yesterday. I said, Wade, I had y'all in the Elite Eight last year. They lost to Penn State in the first round. They could have played. They were going to play Texas if they would have beat Penn State. Remember?
Right, I remember that.
So now, same kind of scenario. They're going to play Houston. Okay, A&M played at Houston earlier in December and lost 70-66. I think Wade had 30. Houston's a little beat up.
Yes, hurt.
A&M's playing really good right now. Wade is playing really good right now. But he told me not to pick them. So I'm going to pick Houston. But A&M is going to upset Houston.
That's a tough.
It could happen.
That's a tough game for me because both Kelvin Sampson, who was at the University of Oklahoma when I was coaching at Oklahoma State, but we've become really good friends. And, of course, Buzz and I are really good friends.
Remember, we're not picking. You can't pick your friends. Take your feelings out of it.
Both of them are really good coaches. I like them because they coach the same style that I
Both really
coach.
like tough teams,
defensive teams. I tell you, if you're a soft player, you can't play for either one of these coaches.
Nah.
I mean, if you got to be tough-minded mentally and physically. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the Houston Cougars.
Okay. I picked Houston too, but please know that just because I don't want to jinx my buddy, Wade. Okay, James Madison, Duke for me.
No. Oh, I'm going to go with Duke. I got Wisconsin and Duke. I'm going to go with Duke.
You like Duke that much?
What team that's in the tournament hadn't been up and down? I mean, that's why the basketball season is so long. You take our team, the Jayhawks. They beat Tennessee, they beat Kentucky, they beat UConn,
Houston.
They beat all those teams, and then they hit up. Things happen, injuries happen.
I think other than UConn, nobody else has really just been that.
Yeah, I mean UConn had an injury, but every team has that. Stock market. They up, down, up here, and now's the time that you need to be playing well.
I'm gonna take Duke.
And the only thing you have to do right now is win what? 4 games, 5 games?
6 total.
6 in your national championship. I'm gonna go with it.
NC State, Kentucky for me. I got Kentucky.
Oh yeah, I got Kentucky here.
I really like Kentucky. I think if they can get on a run and win a couple games, they could be very dangerous. Super talented.
Super talented. They're gonna play. They got talent, and a lot of times, as we all know, in coaching or in games, talent will override coaching.
What you say? Players make plays.
It's like I remember when I got the job at Washington State, and I was in the Nike hospitality room at the Final Four, and Jim Boeheim, the coach at Syracuse, put his arm around me. He says, "PG."
I didn't know you knew him.
Yeah. He says, it's not that you can't coach because you work for Eddie, but it's not the X's and O's. It's Jimmy and Joe's. Oh my gosh. It's not the X's and O's. It's Jimmy and Joe. Get you some Jimmy and Joe's. You'll be all right.
I'm going to take Marquette second round then.
Yeah, I'm going to take Marquette.
But see, here's the thing, though. Very rarely in the Sweet 16 is it the top 4 seeds, but we're picking based on just like the teams that we know there's going to be upsets, and this is Houston. Duke.
I'm going to take Houston over.
I got
Duke.
Houston.
I got Houston, and I got Kentucky here.
I got Marquette.
That's going to be a good game.
I think Shaka's teams right now, after watching Marquette and Kansas this year, I think they're tough too. I don't know. I think they're playing good Big East basketball.
But yeah, and you know what? Let me say this, Britt. It's one thing about coaching. Shaka was at the University of Texas, and he more or less got fired, got forced out.
Yeah.
Now he had great talent there. He did a great job there. Then he leaves there and goes to Marquette, and he's done a hell of a job.
They've been in the top 10 all season.
I mean, so in coaching and in life, it's being at the right place at the right time and having the great support that you need. About timing. But I just want to say that about Shaka Smart, who's a good person, who when he was at Texas recruited one of my players from Skyline High School.
Who, Marcus?
Marcus, okay. He recruited Marcus. And then when I was at Georgia State, he was a head coach at VCU.
We don't want to talk about VCU because they upset Kansas. So moving on. Houston, Marquette, I'm taking Houston.
I'm taking Houston to the Final Four.
I really hope they can get it done. I think after the year they've had, they deserve it.
When did they go to the Final Four and Baylor beat them? 3 years?
It was the COVID year. 21? Was it 21?
Yeah.
21? Okay, so before we get to the bottom half, I'm going to share with you some of my favorite March Madness moments as a coach's kid of a D1 coach. And I don't know if you know this, but we were pretty superstitious, me and Nick. So when we made our Final Four run, like, we decided we weren't going to eat anything orange because orange is Oklahoma State's color. So on the nightstand in the hotel, we had, like, orange Skittles, orange M&Ms, all the things. So we're getting ready to go to the game. And, I mean, I'm only in, what, like, third grade?
Yeah, about third grade.
Third, fourth grade, something like that. I needed a snack. Mom said no. But I see all this orange candy on the nightstand. So I ate the M&Ms. And Nick got so mad at me. Nick was probably in middle school. So he was like 7th grade.
7th or 8th grade, something like that.
And he, to this day, blames that loss on me because I ate the orange M&Ms. Like, we did some crazy things. We were, like, so superstitious. But I feel like, for me, it was fun because, like, Coach Sutton always included the families and the kids. And, like, we got to ride on the bus and go on private planes. And for a little kid, you think that's normal. Like, you don't appreciate it till you're older. You think, like, all your friends fly on private planes. And, you know, when you make those deep runs from the conference tournament to end, like, I'm missing school. Like, it was a cool, like, that was the best part of the year. Like, spring break was, like, a month long because it was, like, we come home.
We flew right over your school.
Yeah, we flew over the school, which was cool. And everyone had orange and black on, and they had they spelled out OSU outside. Then we come home, wash clothes, and pack.
What about when we came back from the regionals to Stillwater? I don't remember. You don't remember all those people out there? When we won.
I've seen pictures, but that I don't remember.
When we won the regional, beat UMass to go to the Final Four. It was late. It was late. We got back because we flew from New York to Oklahoma City. And we got on the Continental truck, the buses. And as we're driving down the highway from Oklahoma City to Stillwater, it was cars all up and down the highway. People, blowing horns. And when we pulled into Stillwater, we had to have police. We couldn't even get to Gallagher Arena. It was packed.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was packed and full, and people were everywhere, hanging out, throwing confetti, hollering and screaming, and everybody was there when we got back. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I kind of remember, but just like from pictures. And then the other cool thing is just like how, like, walking through security and like sponsors. Like, I remember I had I was drinking like juice that wasn't out of the sponsorship, and this guy's like, "You can't drink that. Like, you have to have the Powerade cup." And like, I don't know. I feel like for kids and families, it's like, it's super fun too. That not a lot of people get to experience, so it's super fun. Bottom region, Midwest. We have Purdue.
I'm gonna take Purdue.
What about Grambling?
What about them?
Okay, I got Purdue too. Okay, Utah State, TCU. We both have ties to TCU. Micah plays for TCU, and you're good friends with Coach Tony.
Benford. And Jamie Dixon, the head coach at TCU, was a player for TCU when I was an assistant coach at SMU.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was
good?
He was good. He was a good, tough, hard-nosed guard, and he played for TCU, and I was an assistant at SMU.
I have no idea.
So I'm going to go with TCU.
I'm going with TCU as well. Gonzaga, McNeese. I'm picking McNeese with the upset. That's all I keep hearing about.
I'm going to go with Gonzaga. Why is that? Is Mark Few, does he know me?
Yeah, he does. He's so nice, too. Coach Few is really nice.
Good. Yeah, he is. He's a good coach.
Yeah. But it's just not their year.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Gonzaga.
Kansas, Samford.
Rock Chalk, Jayhawk.
I never pick Kansas to go far. Let me just put that out there. I feel like the years I picked them to, like, the years we should go to the Final Four, we don't. So I don't pick them. But I am picking them over Samford. I'm not going to just not pick them.
Let me say this. I remember Brittany gets so mad at Bill. She knows Coach Self.
I have him in my phone number, too.
Yeah, I mean.
Remember for your retirement? Like, I've texted him. I have a coach on speed dial.
Yeah, I mean, Bill and I worked together, 3 years at Oklahoma State together. I think it was 3 years. But when we went to the Final Four in San Antonio, Brittany got when they was playing Villanova. You got so mad.
When Marcus's freshman year.
Yeah, Marcus's freshman year.
Yeah, we weren't going to go. We made the last-minute trip, and Bill got us tickets.
Yeah, and you were so mad.
I've never seen so many three-pointers made. Like, just feel like we didn't make adjustments, and like we didn't. And this year's Kansas team, don't get me started. Like, And that's the thing, though, about Kansas, though, right now. Like we said before, they've beaten UConn, number 1 seed. Houston, number 1 seed. Tennessee, number 2 seed. Okay, South Carolina, Oregon. I'm going with South Carolina.
I'm going with South Carolina.
Creighton, Auburn. Creighton is
Akron,
really
you mean
good.
Akron.
Oh, Akron.
I'm going to go with Creighton.
Whoops, sorry.
Remember, was that last year where Kansas beat Creighton over in Fort Worth?
No, that was 2 years ago.
Okay.
That was the year we won the Natty.
Oh yeah, and by the way, we when Bill and the Kansas Jayhawks came down here to practice, we went to practice.
Yes.
In Fort Worth. What was it? Fort Worth?
Yeah,
They practiced.
A private practice, invite only, but we were there. I met Ochai.
That's right.
I met Ochai. Okay, Texas over Virginia. I'm not sold on this year's Texas team. Nick thinks that they can make a run, and they're talented, but again, they've just been like this. I'm gonna go with Virginia or CSU. I'm not picking Texas. Sorry, Coach Terry.
Well, he sent me some gear.
I know. Sorry, Jackson, Coach Terry.
I'm gonna go with Texas, and who's at the bottom? I'm gonna go with
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
But the interesting matchup is Tennessee-Texas because Coach Barnes coached
there
at Tech. Okay, Purdue-TCU. I honestly think TCU could beat them. TCU beat Houston. They were rolling early, a little weak on the non-conference, but
I'm gonna go with Purdue.
I'm gonna go with Purdue because I don't know if TCU has an answer for Edie.
And I tell you right here,
McNeese, Kansas.
Kansas guns. I'm gonna go with Kansas.
I'm picking McNeese because I just don't want to deal with Kansas being upset and picking them far. So I'm going with McNeese.
I really believe Bill Self has proven he's a tournament coach, and he'll have that team ready to play.
What if McCullough is hurt?
But that's the key. I mean, health is going to mean something.
They're going to make a run.
In his news conference, he said that Hunter Dickinson was doing fine. Of course, you know how Bill is. I haven't seen McCullough play yet, and but he'll be fine. You know how he do it, Britt. Do it, please. I know he's okay.
We can't guard nobody. Yeah. Okay, South Carolina, Creighton.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Creighton.
So when Mom does her bracket, she just copies Jay Billis.
I'm gonna go with Tennessee here.
Yeah, I like Tennessee. Purdue, McNeese State for me. I'm taking Purdue.
I'm taking Purdue here.
So the Kansas run is over.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good matchup because Hunter Dickinson and Zach.
That's the matchup we wanted in Maui.
That's what you want. But it's all going to depend on
the guards.
McCullough and what's Furphy and Timbo. You don't have no faith in Timbo.
It's March. He's going to be like Remy in March, and Nick Timberlake is going to be great for us. Okay, Creighton, Tennessee. I got Tennessee. And then I'm taking Tennessee to the Final Four.
I'm taking Purdue.
So my Final Four is Auburn, North Carolina, Houston, Tennessee. Who do you have?
I got UConn.
Wait, hold it.
I have UConn, North Carolina, Houston, Purdue. And the winner is, for me, UConn back-to-back.
I got UNC. But you didn't do who's winning this game.
What game? Which one?
Houston, Purdue.
Oh.
The semifinals. Houston. I got Houston, Tennessee, and
you mean yeah? Okay, right here I gotta put.
I got Houston in the national semifinals, and then I got North Carolina winning it all.
I'm gonna go with Houston, and then I'm gonna go with UConn.
Yeah, I got North Carolina. Why? I don't know. I'm picking North Carolina.
North Carolina is talented enough. There are 4 or 5 teams.
So many teams.
It's so many. There's no clear-cut dominant team, and it's who's playing well.
Who's going to get on
right now? And like you made a statement when you and I was talking Sunday, it's matchups. It's matchup. In the tournament, somebody twists their ankle, somebody getting foul trouble. Kansas, for example, if McCullough's knee goes out here, I mean, they can't.
Don't say that.
Or if,
knock on wood. I mean, knock on the wood. Don't say that about Kevin.
I mean, anybody. I mean, Houston, they got a couple of players that's hurt.
Yeah.
If Wade Taylor pulled,
whoa, now we're getting personal.
Well, Wade the other night had 20 at the half. In the second half, we only got what? 2, 4.
Hey, easy.
Well, I'm just telling facts.
Whoa. Hey, back off now. He got tired.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why they call it March Madness.
So do we have any other advice for some people filling out their bracket? don't pick too many upsets.
Well,
you can't really go looking for upsets. Like, there's no way to predict, for example, that like Long Beach State is going to beat Arizona.
Yeah, well, yeah, the chances of that happening are slim and none, but it can. Like, it's 1 beating a 16.
It happened last year.
Yeah, it happened last year, Purdue. So you just don't know. What about Virginia? Virginia lost to somebody last year.
No, it was a couple years ago. That was the first one, 16.
Yeah,
so I can't remember.
And then it's always that guy who throws one in from half court. Remember the Final Four that North Carolina had the game won and Villanova won it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Remember North
Charles
Carolina?
Jenkins
made
that shot.
The kid from North Carolina goes down and he shoots this shot and he gives them the lead. And Villanova pushes the ball right back down the floor and they throw it to the guy. Bam! His shot, jump shot at the bucket. North Carolina's got the game. Got the game won. Or the year Texas Tech went to the Final Four with Chris Beard.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember.
Yeah, or either like last year when Bill got sick. And
we lost to Arkansas.
But Kansas is winning the whole game, and the Must Bus got up and took his shirt off. And
Dad, we don't want to talk about that. I was like, Norm.
yeah, you got on Norm.
Norm, what are we doing? Are we not just gonna get Grady the ball and like? Well, thank you for filling out our bracket with me and just talking a little bit about your experiences, our experiences, and I'm so excited. We got our first round games tonight. I think Colorado.
We got games tonight?
Yeah, first four. Colorado and Virginia play, and then Howard and Wagner play tonight. So.
Well, let me say one more thing. What about the studio? You going to tell them about the studio?
We're going to have the
what did Mom say?
We're going to have the studio set up. We're going to move the bracket where we can all see
How many TVs do we have, Britt?
We're going to have 4. 4 less. And, that's another thing. I remember back in the day, like, in Pullman, I used to fake sick. I don't know if you knew that. Did you know that?
No.
So, yeah. And you have to, like, if you're going to fake sick, you kind of have to do it a couple days before. Like,
you got to set it up.
Yeah, you got to set it, plant some seeds. So, Monday, Tuesday, I'd have a headache, be kind of
what would Mom say?
Lounging around. So by the time Thursday came, that first Thursday, and if you're on the West Coast, games start early.
They start early,
like 9 o'clock. You've got to have breakfast and the TV's going. And you know what I mean? Like, we couldn't watch all 4 games at once back then.
Right.
Like, we had satellite, so we could do 2 games at once. But, like, that's another thing. We've come a long way. You can watch whatever game you want.
Yeah, we can watch them all.
And then it would suck because you might be watching a game you really want to watch on the West Coast, but then if Gonzaga's about to play and you live in Washington, they're cutting that game off.
That's right.
And putting it on another game. And you're like, that was hard. But anyways, we're excited.
Plus Brittany is taking all my money to buy snacks for the concierge room.
Yeah, we have to have snacks. The whole thing.
And tell them what does Mom say? All those TVs going, all those TVs.
Mom gets excited too. We're a basketball family. So I'm picking North Carolina. He's got UConn.
I've got UConn.
Going back to back. So we'll see. And Harper has just been sitting here like an angel. Say bye to everybody. Okay. We're done.
All right. Thank you, Miss Annie. That was fun. Now I can go change my bracket.
Yeah, now I got to do my real bracket. Now it's time to go do the real bracket. That was the politically correct bracket.